Bong will be moderating our Q&A. Let's keep the conversation going.
All right. So feel free to chat in the chat box for whatever questions you have. This is the time for you to clarify any points that we've mentioned, or probably ask a question that is related to your concern if you have a child with Down syndrome. Okay, so I have a question here in the chat box. Okay, directed to me, no, directed to Mai. So Mai, how do you reply? Because you mentioned a while ago that somehow you wouldn't want to be told that you are blessed, right? So the question is, how do you reply to them? Let's be more specific now. How do you reply to them?
How do I reply? Oftenly stoic. So I will not have any reaction. I would pause for a long time because I replied to one once. She didn't like it. So I did not want to offend anyone. Whenever somebody tells me, I just keep quiet. I don't reply anymore. Silence is more, to me, silence is deadly. So it means more than speaking, because when I speak, I tend to speak my mind. I have that tendency to, when I feel hurt, I have to pause for a bit, because if it hurts, our tendency as human beings is to push and reflect the hurt back to the people who tried to hurt us. That was, even though it's not intentional, and sometimes it comes from lack of awareness and education and what to say to people. So I'd rather not reply. I'd rather stay quiet. That's how I oftenly what I oftenly do now.
Okay.
So I hope that helps.
All right. Thank you so much, Mommy Mai. All right. So I have here in the chat box a question from Miss Lourdes Hulapong Lepitan. Did dancing cure her sleeping patterns, or did you administer some meds? I can't say that the dance therapy cured it, but it somehow lessened it, because during dance therapy, it's like her energy is actually drained by following the steps with the hula hoop, with the lace. And of course, it's a lot of movement. So at that point, her tics are lessened during that time. And our doctor said, give her more time in activities where she really would drain her energy, so she wouldn't have any time to think about moving. But the tics are actually involuntary. It happens anytime, but we noticed it appears more when she is excited, when she's very excited. Okay, so when you see her, you come across Sandra and interact with her, and she is happy about seeing you, then there will be more tics. Yes, we are still on the Respirdal on a 0.5 ml, but I believe the doctor would require us to move it up again to 1, because the sleeping patterns, the difficulty in sleeping actually was addressed by the medicine. But the following day, sometimes she is dazed. Sometimes the reaction or the response is quite slow. But somehow the sleep pattern, sleep is the most important thing, especially for children, right? Even if they are less focused, because during the speech therapy, she's just like that. Maybe after 3 questions, and then she will respond. But at least she could sleep well. And slowly we are improving. Later on, we will learn more from our next speaker. I mean, the second speaker after the next speaker. Okay. Ms. Shan has a question that any mom can feel free to answer. Okay, let's have a question, that question addressed to Frida. Okay, let's spotlight Frida. So can you answer the question? What's something your child has taught you that no one else could?
Actually, a lot of things. As I mentioned also in my presentation or my sharing earlier, it's actually be grounded you know, because we didn't expect, of course, everybody, a mom or a parent with special needs, you don't expect to have a special needs child. But once you have a special needs child, you learn to be grounded and to focus on the child, and other things is not anymore important except, focusing on your child, whether it's your child's health, your child's growth, your child's development, and that is the most important. And actually, it also helps you stay grounded in a sense that you don't think about things that are not uh, important, as well as simplify your life. And actually, it's more uh, it gives me more happiness in that sense, to realize, and as Jello grows, and to see what are your priorities in life.
All right. Thank you, Mommy Frida. I have a question for Tracy, sent to me privately. Let's spotlight Tracy. I know your work is demanding. How do you manage to juggle your dailies, taking care of Kiona and Carla, both children with special needs?
Okay, thanks for the question. Obviously, I don't have superpowers. I get help. I have a helper to help me out with chores at home and child minding, especially when I need to work. So that enabled me to still do my job well. Another thing is I have my sister at home who's been very helpful when I needed a shift. And for focused care, because two of my kids have special needs. One has Down syndrome and the other one is high functioning autism. So for focused care, I have to explain to Carla that there will be times when I have to give 100% of my time to one child. It may be her or it may be her ate. But that doesn't mean my love and care for the other is lessened. It's hard for them. It's hard for her because she's still young. She's 19, but she's still young to understand all these things. And sibling rivalry is there. Still, I do that. And I just let God take care of the rest for me.
Hi, Kiona. Sandra misses you. Okay. They are BFFs. All right. Okay, I have another question. All right, this is addressed to Frida. Is it easy to share with others that you have a special needs child?
Of course, it's not. I mean, even to the families, my families and my husband's families, is not easy to explain. That's why we have to read a lot, as I think mentioned earlier in our sharing. And with Jello, it's very obvious. You have a special needs child, as compared, for children with Down syndrome. It's obvious that he or she is a special needs child, as well as compared to the other children who have special needs, like, for example, the autism spectrum. When you just look at the child, right? So it's actually, I need to choose the moment, as well as seize the opportunity to share, the advocacy, as well as the awareness. And maybe the other thing also is, because after Jello, 5 years later, I had another child. So Caitlin is now 12, Jello is 17. I also have, it's another thing also to explain, as well as to show how I had to, as mentioned by Tracy, to focus my attention to Jello, because he has more needs. But of course, always to explain to Caitlin that it doesn't mean that I love her less. So it's more, of course, how it is explained and how it is shown, to really express how you are able to handle, as well as care for a special needs child.
Thank you so much, Mommy Frida. And the last question is addressed to me. How are you able to accept the dual diagnosis of your child, having Down syndrome and regression disorder and possible Tourette-like syndrome? Definitely, it's not easy. It's like when she was born, it was already a surprise to us to know that she has Down syndrome. But to have a loving family and being guided by Dr. Alexis and Dr. Eva, things became lighter because we know we are in good hands and they are guiding us through a path that we should be taking. With the regression disorder, that is my ultimate fear. It's like we prepared her to be able to feed herself, then sit, crawl, walk, talk, read. Now she can sing, and then she can dance. She can socialize minimally, but with a regression disorder, if all of these will somehow be lessened, if that's God's will, as long as she is not sick, as long as she is healthy, then we're fine. With the Tourette-like syndrome, it's something that we cannot control. But that's why we're going to go for a series of tests so we would know what would be the best medication and treatment for her. You know, I'm sure, and I speak for all the moms here, everything becomes lighter as long as we have a kind society and a loving family. And I would say, if you see children who misbehave in public, don't judge the parents. Don't even think that this child was not raised properly or this child is an interruption of what you're doing. Because they all have their own meltdowns caused by many issues, sensory issues, okay, being brought to a place that's new to them. So there's also one thing that I'd like to add. I don't like people telling us that's why God gave that to you, because you can handle it, you're tough. If there's nothing else that you could say but that, then just shut up. I'd rather hear you say, how is Sandra? Can we have a play date with Sandra? Can we invite you to a talk? Rather than telling us, you're strong, that's why that was given to you. No, it was not given to us. We accepted it, but it was not really given to us because we are strong. All right? So please don't feel inhibited in case you'd like to ask questions to any one of us. If you are our friend, if you are our acquaintance, because I'm sure with all the moms here, we would love to share our story. And it's only through this venue, this avenue where we are able to share our story. So we have today 38 people in the room. This will be recorded and we will share it. Please reshare the story so we will have more people to understand how the journey is of parents who have children with Down syndrome. It's back to you.